in politics right now, there's a big hoopla and a lot of things going on about identity politics. And a lot of people like Kyle Kalinske and others say, I don't play identity politics. And I understand why they don't play identity politics, because they have the idea of you are more than just your identity. And I agree with that. They want policy, not race. They want policy, not religion. That's the idea. Policy, policy, policy. Are you honorable about your policy? Policy-driven people tend to not go with identity politics. And that is erroneous because that's not how the game has been played. Politics, I view politicians as terrorists. Politics, no matter what the definition is, what you research on Wiki, what you ecosia anywhere, politics is primarily manipulating the masses to vote for one or the other side for their own self-interests. So Republicans want to get your vote. Democrats want to get your vote. Why? Because not to further the country, but to further their bank accounts, to further the ability to get donations and backing from big corporations, billionaires, and the such. It hasn't been anything else for a very long time. Now, identity politics is something that you can't escape because there's racism, there's bigotry, there's hatred, and it's all over the place. There are political and religious pushes against the LGBTQIA, all of that stuff. So you've got those who are friendly to that group that want politicians that are going to help them with equal rights. Not better, just equal. If, the opposite sex can get married, then why can't the same sex? Why can't two men marry each other? Why can't two women marry each other? And if you say because it's against God or it's against the Bible or whatnot, it says here in the Bible or anything like that, if you go to the Bible, if you go to religion, that expresses nothing less than a non-separate church and state, which is against the Constitution. And that's something people don't want to think about. So if anything you do has a religious backing connotation, then that expresses a religious rule, okay? That is part of a theocracy. And when you get absolute dominant religious rule, then it becomes a theocratic state. The idea is separation of church and state. The state will not behold any religion worthwhile in terms of, rules and regulations or anything. No religion can be accepted like that. However, your religion is protected. Practice it how you wish, so long as you're not hurting other people. So, the way this works is right now, I'm going to go jump from religion to the black vote. All right? I'm going to cover these bases here. And it's also the white vote. I want you to know that. It's both. Now, the white vote is simple. That's the Bible Belt. That's first and foremost. That's why the politicians go towards the Bible Belt and they try to claim that. It's the Bible Belt. Not Iowa, not Texas, not Ohio, Iowa, Texas, those caucuses. Those primary caucuses. Individual states. Just keep that in mind. Individual states. But when it comes to the Bible Belt, you're talking about a slew of states. All right? You're talking about, Florida to Louisiana to West Virginia, maybe even lower Massachusetts. You're talking about all of that. That shows a singular mindset. So so as they do the Southern strategy, that makes it so that the whole Bible Belt gets on your side. That's race in general. That's identity politics. Using your religion to make sure you vote for them. You got to think about that. If you are that easily swayed, then that's why our country is just that messed up. Because you are literally voting for religion instead of voting for something genuinely positive. Because any politician can talk about the war and how God wants it. And you're like, well, yeah, I'm for it then. Especially if you're already, starry-eyed over that politician. The black vote, that's different. All right? I'm going to get more into the white vote, but the black vote, black people are never thought about or cared for by politicians. And probably statesmen as well. Not cared for. No one goes after the black vote until it's an absolute dire near tie, okay, or political tie within any primary. That's when they'll go to the black vote. That's how that's going to work. Then you get the general. All right. The general, they're not going to care about the black vote until the final 6 months. That has been consistent. They're not going to care about the black vote until they're like, okay, this is where we stand. It's kind of neck and neck. And then you'll get people that'll play a saxophone or pull out hot sauce, And now, just along with the black vote, now they're going to try to get the millennial vote. And might I add, for the past, 5 years, all these politicians have been talking trash on millennials. That's more identity politics. Are you a millennial? Are you someone, within that, are you like 30 to 35 or whatnot? Then, you're a millennial and they talk trash about you. And if you're younger, then you're worse than the millennials because, you are. I mean, there's no reason behind it. You just are. You've gotten it worse than the millennials. You're just coming into this. You don't know anything, literally. So you're worse and you expect a comfortable, decent life. And the fact that you expect it, that makes you terrible. Black people are going to vote Democrat usually. Why? Because Democrat is usually seen as it's a lie, but pro-black. And after President Carter, the Democrats ain't been for black people, period. I mean, literally. The Democrats are the ones that's like, hey, here we are, Democrats. We like Martin Luther King. And they're like, yeah. And now you got Obama, he made it. Yeah. Now Democrats is like, the partisans are like, well, yeah, Democrats because Obama, he's a Democrat. He isn't. Just because he got a D by his name don't mean he's a Democrat. I mean, he can self-identify as a Democrat all he wants, but his actions and his rhetoric has definitely been very polite Republican. Hey, you can test me, you can try to, you shake your head and all this other stuff, but hey, it's true. It cannot be denied. Obama most recently was against millennials. He's talking about, making a smart remark on Twitter and whatnot, which I agree, but the problem is he was using all that as basically anti-millennial stuff. And that's just wrong in general. You're going to be anti-Twitter, be anti-Twitter. Don't be anti-Twitter just to get some clapback on millennials that see you for what you are. That's how I view that. I'm trying to find the best way to say what I want to say. It's not easy at this moment. When it comes to, and I'm going to jump all over the place, and I have to because I had things laid out, and I'm like, no, I'd rather bounce. I'd rather bounce. I don't want to just, I don't like layouts too much. They bug me. When it comes to getting the white vote, That's when they talk about the middle class. That's when they talk about big business. That's when they talk about getting jobs back here. That's when they talk about building jobs, rebuilding the Rust Belt. I mean, come on. How many times are you going to hear that over the next 30 years before you realize, wait a minute, they're lying? I mean, come on. Everyone has talked about rebuilding the Rust Belt since, I don't know, Reagan. But no one's done it. And the Rust Belt just keeps rusting. It gets worse. It's crumbling apart. It's breaking away in big chunks. And then although you see this, and all those people that are living this will still look to those that say, yeah, we need to rebuild the Rust Belt. They're like, I'm going to vote for this because he wants to help us out here. How many times you going to get smacked across the face before you realize you're going to get slapped across the face? I'm just trying to figure that out. Black people also are in the Rust Belt. And TYT, a couple of years ago, did a very poor thing, the Rust Belt, showing these very poor, impoverished people and called them middle class. That is stuff like that that's poor. When you find someone making $19 an hour and you know, not an hour, but $19,000 a year, and you call that middle class, that's bad. When you see rundown homes, people that they go out and they at the time go to KFC and buy these big family deals, and that's got to spread for about 2 to 3 days, and you call them middle class and they're suffering. Oh my goodness. People holding 3 and 4 jobs, trying to do what one job should be able to do, and calling the middle class. That's poor reporting. That does so much damage when you have such a large platform and you say that. You know, it's terrible. And that left a bad taste in my mouth. It did. So when there are people out there that talk about, and they're middle class, and they're talking about having hard times, and their hard times is that they couldn't go on vacation, you get no sympathy here. Your hard times is you can't go on vacation. Others' hard times is their vacation is you're fired because LOL you and more money to me. Just, you don't get sympathy. And the politicians, they don't give you sympathy. They got anti-sympathy. You know, you don't get sympathy from me. I just don't give you the sympathy. They have the, oh, let me say fuck you in the best way possible. I'm on your side. I like you. Let's help rebuild your community. Let's do this for you. And you're like, man, I'm voting for you. I like you. See, you get it. You understand. You vote for them. They win. And you're like, why aren't things getting better? And they're like, you need to blame the other side because we're doing the best we can. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to blame the other side because, you know, they said so. If you really want to know, I just summed up every political campaign, vote, and wash, rinse, repeat right there. You know, Donald Trump comes out, and this is going back to the black vote. Donald Trump, he comes out and pulls, he says he says the quiet things loudly. I've been trying not to say that, but oh my goodness, TYT drilled it in my head, and then Trump keeps proving it, and it's bugging me. Remember, this is the guy that had the guy with the nuclear codes in the briefcase walking around, and he's bragging, this is the guy with the football, as Jank would put it. This is the guy here with the nuclear codes. You know, this guy that I should be protecting, you know, probably way more than Fort Knox. You know, but hey, here he is. You know. Hey, where's my African American? Hey, there he is. There he is over there. And then the African American goes, hey man, these are the things you can do to, you know, help protect yourself. Hey, get him away from me. Kick him out. And then later, Trump says what? Black people, what are you going to do? The Democrats don't care about you. They don't care about you at all. Every time you vote for them, things get worse. So what you going to do? And black people kind of like, damn, you got a point. And then either they don't vote, and then there are a few that did vote for Trump. You know, when I say few, I'm talking about the, you know, few thousand, like 3,000 that probably voted for Trump. Benjamin Dixon is going over the whole black vote and things like that, doing it very well. And I'm liking it. And he's trying to let people know, hey, you need to watch out. You need to watch out. But no one's listening. They're not. Just he's talking to a group of head nodders. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, man, I agree. Yeah. And they don't say or do anything about it. They don't spread it. They don't do anything. You know, they might have some wit in the comment section, but they're not saying, hey, this guy said this. You should take a listen to him. It doesn't have to be Benjamin Dixon. It could be anybody. I'm just using Benjamin Dixon right now, who is trying to get people to wake up to how they are being used, how identity politics is important. Because one thing he won't cover is how black people are ignored. As I said earlier, ignored heavily until they are needed. And as he did point out, you're not going to win an election without the black vote. Not going to do it. It's impossible. Because when it comes to white people, it's all about, and this sucks, but hey, I gotta be honest. You gotta be honest too. It's all about how much money you make. It's all about your comfort of living. Are you Republican and white? Do you live all right, kind of middle class? You feel good? You're going to vote for Trump. That's usually how that's going to go. Are you podunk, uneducated, white? You're probably going to vote for Trump. Are you middle class, white? You live all right, but you can see the struggles? You're probably going to vote Democrat. That's probable. Are you young, white, see what's ahead, heard the things that Trump has been saying, have taken notice to how Republicans are ruling certain areas and those areas are jacked up, and saying, why would I vote Republican? Look at the proof is in the pudding. I'm going to vote Democrat. And so those 25-year-old white people are probably going to vote Democrat. That's what's going on. So the vote most likely will be very close, within a few million people. You know, about 3 to 5 million people, as usual. It's pretty much split. Now, that's when you need to get the minority vote. Not just the black vote, the minority vote. Are you going to protect dreamers? Are you going to undo and protect native lands? This ain't about reparations for black people. This is, are you going to stop the cops from murdering black people in the droves that they have? Are you going to fire these abusive / and or racist / and or trigger happy and or just idiotic, panicky cops? Are you going to stop them, fire them, fine them, sue them, and replace them with better policy, equal justice policy? Are you going to do things that will help people that are on trial not be fast-tracked into prison just because of the color of their skin, or if they're white because they have tattoos, or if they're white because they're poor? Are you going to make it justice equal for all? Because if you have money and you're white, you have to prove intent to put them behind bars. If you broken white or just plain minority, you don't need intent. The cop tells you your intent, and then you are cited and booked for that intent. And now you have to prove that you didn't have intent, but your intent isn't even in question in the first place because you did it. Two different justice systems. And those people that hear talk about changing these systems for the better and improving lives are the ones that's going to vote Democrat. And you've also got a group out there that says it's not about Republican, it's not about Democrat, because they are both under the same corporate big donor PAC money. They are still the establishment. So it's progressives or it's Green Party or Libertarian against the establishment system. All of these are identities. Do you identify as Republican? Do you identify as Democrat? Do you identify as progressive / justice Democrat? Do you identify, I think I said Libertarian, do you identify as Green Party? Do you identify as black, white? Do you identify as poor middle class or poor or middle class upper, no matter where you are, but you see yourself as poor and struggling because you don't have everything you want? Everyone is playing identity politics. They're just pieces on the board. The politicians are moving you where they want you to be for their own gain, their own goal. And not one person seems to be thinking about how am I being manipulated for someone else's own gain. And that's hard, and it's painful, and it's scary. But that's life. Life, we are humans. We are the quote unquote alphas on this planet. And when you have a bunch of alphas, someone's got to be the bigger alpha. And that's why we have these so-called, political gods. These gods in religion, these gods in atheism, these gods in the LGBTQIA, these gods in the black community, the white community, the rich, the wealthy, the poor, the podunk, the extreme impoverished, the hungry, the people that so-called champion such a thing that everyone look up to, and those people can do no wrong. That's why I use the term God for them, because they're just flawless, just because reason. You know who I support. You know who I'm voting for. You know who I want to win. But if who you want to win is based in negativity or kind of a single issue, in some areas you got to be single issue. What's the single issue I would go for? Medicare for all. If I was to go for any one issue, Medicare for all. Who was trying to get that done? But even that's a band-aid on making the country great for once. We need better, and we can't get better until we are better. The politicians don't make us better. We make ourselves better. We should dictate who is in office and how they govern. They aren't supposed to tell us what to do. They're supposed to put laws and acts in action so that we can live a better life, our one life. They're supposed to regulate the information that goes out there so we can make informed decisions. Not put people in charge that have sued these places. Not put people in charge that have anti-rhetoric of these places. That is the point. We are fighting ourselves. Literally get up, look in the mirror, and punch ourselves in the face and then blame somebody else. We got to stop that. We got to stop it. The black vote will not be gained until it's clutch time, because black people don't matter until they can be used. Podunk white people are used all the time. Middle class white people are used all the time. It's always the middle class that anyone will talk about. And when they want to talk about anyone else, they'll call it the working poor or the working class. I mean, when you think about that, that's almost saying that the middle class don't work. The upper class sure as shit don't work. So you got the upper class, the billionaires, the donors, the Wall Streeters, that Elizabeth Warren is definitely against. That seems to be all that she's against. She's not against getting, she's not for getting money out of politics. If she was, she wouldn't say that she would take big donor money in the general. So you keep that in mind. Being woke is also something you're going to hear a lot about. Okay? Being woke is not about agreeing with somebody. That's not woke. That's just dumb. That's what that is. I agree with you because I'm woke. Good. I know you agree with me because only a woke person would. That's how that works, and that's just dumb. Don't go with that. Woke, whether it is agreeing with someone or disagreeing with someone, woke is simply not following just because. Woke is not following. Woke is looking and making an informed decision. That's what woke is. Woke is not saying, I'm going to vote Democrat. I'm going to vote Biden because he's Democrat. I know him. He worked with Obama. See, that's not woke. That's sleeping. That's what that is. Woke is, yeah, I want to vote for Biden, but this man was talking to a wall. I want to vote for, well, I mean, I want to, he worked with Obama. But this is the dude talking about record players? Listen to, what? Listen to, I don't know about this. Why? Okay, Joe Biden did the whole busing thing, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to have to leave Biden alone. That's just too many. And he's against Medicare for all? He's not against for-profit prisons? No, I can't do Biden. Now I'm gonna have to call him, Barack Biden. Oh wait, that was on the campaign, wasn't it? Barack/Biden, because it ain't left. It's still here. You gotta leave it alone. Wake up. Be woke. Do a little research, not much. Just go to these people's platforms, look at their policies, go to their websites, do a Simply Cozier search. Look them up. Look up their voting records. That's going to be a pill. That's painful. Trying to read the rhetoric of legalese to figure out their voting policies and stuff in the past. That's a pill. It can be done by those that understand that language. Me, not one of them. I'm going to be honest with you. I like reading stuff that says the cat jumped over the dog. Okay. I can't read stuff if it's going to be somewhere in this weird legalese of, the feline left over an object that may or may not have been something of the canine variety on this day of, if not that particular day or hour, if that canine was laying down and the cat or feline had jumped at the right time. I can't do that. I'm like, I don't know anymore. That literally brain shuts down, and that's really part of the point of politics, is to just make your brain shut down so you don't think they think for you, and what they think for you is only good for them. And it sucks, and it bites, And hey, look, I've thrown myself right out there and just tell you the truth. Hey, I don't care if it buries me. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and fake the funk. I'm not going to sit here and be something that I'm not. And I don't want you to be something that you're not. We're all trained since birth to be something that we're not. Can't we finally just be what we are? Whatever that will be. Wake up. Acknowledge what's going on. If you don't want to play identity politics, that's fine. Because I don't want to play identity politics. It is identity politics. And it's time to stop playing. This is real. This is life. And while the politicians are just moving pieces on the chessboard, those pieces are still trying to fight each other and not realize who's in control. There's a marionette to all of this, y'all. There is. And it ain't you. It's not. So don't get distracted by who tweeted what snappy comeback somebody had. Go read the policies. Look at each candidate and don't vote because they're a woman. Don't vote because they're a man. Don't vote because they're white. Don't vote because they're black or Asian or Latino or Latina. Don't vote because of that. Vote based solely on policy. Remove the name, remove name, religion, and all that stuff. Look at the policies. Line them up. Which one has the better policy? And vote for that one. And I guarantee each time it'll come out Bernie Sanders, who definitely is not doing the black vote right. But then again, if going on his age and going on who's advising him and going on how he's been acting for the past 20 years, he don't even know to deal with the black vote. He's probably just thinking, I'm running on these. It's going to help everybody. I don't need to gain the black vote because if the black people actually do research and look at what I have done, they'll vote for me anyway. He's probably being lackadaisical about it because, in all honesty, why would you not vote for someone that chained themselves to a black woman and said, you have to arrest me too if you're going to wrongfully arrest her? You know, just throwing it out there, guys. Name any other politician on this panel that has literally, you know, worked that hard with black people, specifically for black people. Not someone that served in the military next to a black person and said, I have worked with black people. That don't count. Not someone that says, I have black friends. I'm black. I have some black friends. I have some white friends. Should I be president?
Yes.
I should. You think so, Sidra? I should be president. I have white friends. All right, y'all. Vote for Kennedy. Yep. I mean, just throwing it out there. Look, I'm asking everyone to be better. Do any cozier search. Look for policy. And make sure you vote for your interest, not theirs. Not your friends, not your family, your interest. The only way this country can get better is by making sure two things happen. We get ranked choice voting, which New York is instilling, and voting for people that agree with us. Whoever agrees with you, vote for them. I support that if they agree with you. Even if it's someone I hate, they agree with you and you're voting for them just because they agree with you, good, because that's how it should be. That's how it needs to be. That's how it must be. That's a necessity in life. But my vote's for Bernie Sanders. And right now, nothing can change that. Not yet. I'm waiting. I'm not stuck. But right now, he's right now at the head of the tournament. So if anyone out there is going to have some credibility and stick with it, I'm waiting. I'll keep doing my cozier searches. I'll keep listening to all these shows. I'll keep talking with Conquering Thought here and there about it. I'll keep doing all kinds of stuff, you know. And hey, it's up on the screen. If you want to, you know, have a conversation or whatnot, it's up there on the screen. It's undeniable. So I'm going to get up out of here. Cedric Kennedy, Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.